afternoon. My name is Kathryn Bocanegra, and I'm pleased to represent the Jane Addams College of Social Work in today's talk. In response to the request to ignite thoughts and solutions to inspire and create a better world, I will be synthesizing findings from across my areas of research and practice expertise to propose a reframing of how we understand, prevent, and intervene when it comes to gang violence. Gang violence has been discussed as a public health epidemic. If we frame violence as a disease, however, in the long shadow of the COVID pandemic, we know that not all diseases are the same. The pathogenesis, progression, and treatment of diseases vary widely. So we treat violence like COVID, like cancer, like AIDS, or like an addiction. In the medical and scientific communities, the roots of addiction are associated with sensation-seeking and self-medication. Addiction can be a functional coping mechanism that both destroys a person while it serves a temporary, fleeting purpose. Treating addiction requires engaging the complex struggle between impulse and action and getting at the root causes of impulses that lead to self-destruction. In the red box, you will see my research expertise, where I conduct in-depth community-gauged research at the intersection of violence, victimization, and punishment. My research, combined with 18 years of practice in community mental health, community violence intervention, and victim services, has convinced me that we have much to gain if we reframe gang violence through an addiction lens. People join gangs when they experience social rejection, social vulnerability, and are unable to negotiate other means to establish their safety in their home or in their community. People engage in gang violence as a socially tolerable means of coping and survival when their humanity has been denied. And the cyclical effects of guilt, shame, and chronic vulnerability fuel an addictive cycle of gang violence that provides a temporary, fleeting sense of safety, identity, and belonging. Please consider the contrasting prevention and intervention frameworks of our current responses to gang violence and the possibilities of using a harm reduction approach as harnessed in the treatment of addictions. On one side, I have summarized the current efforts led by law enforcement and nonprofits to respond to gang violence. In contrast, the harm reduction approach recognizes that addiction is a chronic and relapsing disease. A multi-systemic approach to gang violence empowers individuals to pursue pathways that are life-giving, not life-destroying. The temptation to go back to the block to hustle, to hang out with old friends will always be there, but that tug-of-war has been balanced out. Harm reduction is not an erasure of the past, but a reframing and an attending to the root causes that led someone to engage in violence as they struggle to survive. To begin, we must directly engage youth, men, and women embedded in our city's gangs to better understand their needs and identify their self-interest in the co-creation of shared safety. And through our listening and collaboration with them, I charge all of us to consider how we restore humanity to our community members who are struggling to break through the cycle of hopelessness and self-harm.